Excuse me, Miss Mitchelson. Would you mind explaining why you're taking the day off so suddenly? There's a lot of work I need you to do for me today. I've noticed you've been taking much more time off after coming back from maternity leave. I hope you're not planning to use the fact that you waited until you were 41 to have your first child as an excuse to slack off at work. The pregnancy must have been hard on your body considering your age, but you're the one who made the choice to get pregnant. That's neither my fault nor this company's. I understand that you must be happy after finally conceiving after being married for 15 years, but you still have your responsibility to this company. This is your job. I expect you to do it.
Good morning, Mr. Sanders. I'm terribly sorry for calling in with such late notice.
If you've got time to apologize, then you've got time to work.
I explained the reason I took the day off to Nancy. She's the one who answered when I called in the morning. My daughter suddenly got a high fever. I was worried about whatever she may have spreading to the other kids at her daycare, so I decided to keep her home from school today. I was just about to take her to the doctor, and since I don't know how long I'll be waiting, I thought it best to take the whole day off.
A fever? Oh, come on, that's probably just a cold. Why get so worried over just a stupid cold? Put the kid to sleep and turn on the TV for them or something. I need you here!
Mr. Sanders, my daughter is only a year old, and fevers can be caused by a number of things. It could be something serious, and I don't want to take that risk with my child.
Stop dodging the issue! You know full well this is our busiest time of the year, Mitchelson. Do you have any idea what kind of burden your absence is putting on the rest of the employees?
I'm really sorry about causing trouble for everyone else, but it's my primary responsibility to look after my daughter's health and well-being as her mother. I can't leave her behind and go to work in these circumstances.
Of course you can!
I think any mother would feel the same way as I do. I'm taking today off, Mr. Sanders.
I don't believe this. If that's your attitude toward work, you're fired!
Mr. Sanders, you're the office manager. You don't have the authority to fire me.
So what? I can just tell my superior about your continued insubordination and he'll fire you. There's nothing you do in your job that couldn't be handled by anyone else. I've said it before and I'll say it again. No one is irreplaceable, especially not you, Mitchelson.
Oh, is that so? Then go ahead and fire me.
What?
I can't leave my child alone at a time like this. I'd be neglecting my responsibility as her parent.
Ha! So you're choosing your child over your job. Have it your way. Enjoy unemployment. That should teach you not to cross me.
Hi, Megan. How's your daughter doing?
Much better, thank you. The doctor prescribed us some medicine. She's sleeping soundly right now.
That's great to hear.
Thanks for asking.
By the way, Mr. Sanders came into the office earlier and said that you were fired? I thought you were just taking the day off to care for your daughter. Did something else happen? I was so shocked to hear that.
I'm sorry to have worried you, Nancy. He said that he'd fire me if I put my daughter first, so I told him to go ahead and fire me.
Wow. What is he thinking? We're totally lost around here without you. He told me that I'll be in charge of all your old duties now?
Oh, about that. I thought that something like this may happen, so I put together a manual some time ago to keep things moving smoothly while I'm gone.
You did? Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
However, that was something I started doing under the previous manager. You remember Mr. Rogers? He retired about a year ago. When Mr. Sanders came in as a replacement, he told me that it was a waste of time and to stop working on it.
That's ridiculous. A waste of time? What is wrong with him?
Oh, don't worry. There was a pre-existing manual, titled Manual 5, so I kept working on my manual in secret and attached it to the end of the old one. It's in my personal folder in the shared cloud storage, so go ahead and copy it into yours. If possible, do it at a time when Sanders isn't around. It might get messy if he found out about it.
Gotcha. Let me look for it. Oh, found it!
Excellent! There are some technical things that are difficult even with the manual, so it might take some time to get used to everything.
Hey, it's better than nothing. Thanks so much, Megan.
Let me know if I can help you out in any way.
Seriously, though, how can they fire you? Mr. Sanders must be out of his mind. I'm gonna go and give him a piece of my mind after lunch.
Nancy, it's okay. Calm down. I don't want you to go getting yourself in any trouble. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. For now, I think it's best if you keep your head down.
But Megan...
It's okay, Nancy. Do you think I would just let myself get fired without having a plan in mind?
A plan?
I know it may be hard to wait, but everything will become clear soon enough.
Hello, Miss Mitchelson. Would you mind coming back to work right now? It's a mess over here. Miss Mitchelson!
Good morning, Mr. Sanders.
Oh, good, you're there. Now please, come into work.
I'm sorry. I was under the impression I wasn't working there anymore.
Nothing official has happened yet. You're still an employee on the books.
I'm afraid I'm not. I've already tendered my resignation to the main office.
What's the main office? Aren't I your immediate superior? Why would you go over my head like that?
Because upper management lost their confidence in you.
That's impossible!
Didn't you hear that our office is merging with the branch in the neighboring city?
You knew about that?
You're being demoted, aren't you, Mr. Sanders?
How did you know about that?
I made a report to upper management about the way you treated me when I took the day off to take care of my daughter. They called me in to personally apologize, and they told me everything.
They apologize for what? I didn't do anything wrong!
In the middle of the corporate push to support employees with young children, you tried to force me to come into work rather than take care of my sick daughter. And when I refused to come in, you told me to, quote, put the kid to sleep and turn on the TV for them or something. That's quite an irresponsible thing to say, don't you think? And to top it all off, you told me I was fired when you had no authority to do so.
But why would they shut down the whole office?
If you don't understand why, that just goes to show your incompetence as a manager.
What do you mean?
Not to blow my own horn, but I was carrying quite a lot of weight on my back at that office. When I became pregnant and was about to give birth, I talked to the previous manager, Mr. Rogers, and decided to start making a manual for my job. Unfortunately, Mr. Rogers retired due to an illness, and when you took his place, you told me that the manual was, quote, a waste of time, and told me to stop working on it, even though I was just a few days away from completing it. I finished it in secret anyway.
You kept working on that stupid thing?
Even with the manual, though, my job is highly technical and difficult for an inexperienced person to pick up in a short amount of time. In short, you fired someone who was doing a job that no one else at the office was capable of doing.
I did.
And as a result, the company was unable to find someone who they could train to do that job. The office's performance declined precipitously to the point that even ordinary work could no longer be done. So, upper management swiftly took action and decided to merge our office with the one in the neighboring city, where they do have an employee capable of and experience in doing my job.
Why don't you just come back to work then? That'd solve everything.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Why not?
While the circumstances are unfortunate, I had been planning to retire for some time now.
You were?
My husband is set to receive a substantial promotion at the company he works for, and as a result, we're moving to a location that's too far away for me to continue working there. I was just about to speak to you about this when you made the decision to fire me.
Oh no.
So, it looks as though the merger is inevitable at this point.
I can't believe it. Why is this happening to me? Where's the manual? You finished it, right? Where is it?
Wouldn't you like to know?
If I can get my hands on it, we might be able to avoid the merger.
I'm sorry, but I've already handed it over to upper management.
No!
When I told them I gave it to Nancy, they said they would greatly appreciate me giving it to them to use at the new location. They were quite happy to receive it.
No way! What about me? What am I going to do now?
That's something you have to think about on your own.
I climbed all the way up to office manager.
I'll be going now.
I was on my way up! I was going places!
Do take care of yourself, Mr. Sanders. Farewell.
I was the office manager!
Hi, Megan. It's nice to talk to you again.
Hi, Nancy.
How are things?
Me, my husband, and my daughter are all doing great, thanks. How are things going at the new branch office, Nancy?
It's great. I'm finally getting the hang of your job now. That manual was a really big help.
Glad to hear it.
Oh, by the way, about Sanders?
What about him?
He got fired.
He did?
Yeah, this new girl in the office he had his eyes on for a while announced that she was getting married, and Sanders went absolutely nuts.
Wow.
He broke a bunch of the office equipment on his way out, too. I heard he got hit with $20,000 in damages that he's got to pay off now.
That man is something else, isn't he?
I also found out recently that Sanders had been divorced twice. Kinda makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I believe that in a heartbeat.
The guy is just plain nuts. Oh, hey, my boyfriend's here, so I gotta run.
Good for you. You have a date today?
Yeah, we're going to the zoo.
Have fun.
Thanks, will do. Talk to you later.
I was wondering how a guy like him managed to become regional manager. But it turns out he had been taking credit for his subordinates' work. This all came to light during the merger. So Sanders was already hanging on to his job by a thread. Then when he had his outburst in the office, it was all that upper management could take and they got rid of him. He was put on leave without pay the next day, and the next time he was seen in the office, he was packing up his things. No one said anything to him, no goodbyes or miss yous. Such a sad way to go. He's now living on his own in a tiny apartment near the old office, but he seems to be unable to find a job paying as much as he was making before getting fired. So he's currently working multiple jobs and gradually chipping away at the $20,000 he owes the company.